there's a lot of information coming from a lot of different sources. People are hearing different things in the media, and they're wanting to hear from the governor. And so we're trying to pull together accurate information and then also figure out how do we deliver that message so people can actually hear it directly from him.
So a big part of my job is social media, and that's putting social media out there and tracking it for the governor. So with the social media, we're just trying to get the information out to as many eyeballs as possible. A lot of times this was life-saving information, or it affected people's livelihoods.
The challenge became how do we pivot and utilize maybe technologies that we haven't been using before to try to reach folks.
We had a couple of small things that we used to live stream our own events. So we had a little A10 board, we had a Canon 90D, and that's how we were doing Zoom calls. And when things started becoming virtual, we had to put those things into use. We had a day where we had to try to put out the show on our own using a little Rode boom mic. We had the 90D, and every 29 minutes you had to reset it to make sure it didn't turn off on you. And we had that A10 board, and it was a disaster. One of my worst days in my professional career was trying to put that show out using that equipment. It just wasn't substantial.
And wasn't capable of really pulling off, kind of a statewide television show that kind of morphed into a daily television show for 30 minutes or an hour every day.
One of the fears with hiring someone was that we weren't going to be able to have someone who was as reliable as testing and as eager to make sure everything was going to work. And when Marquis came, all those fears were kind of alleviated because the team was so good at testing the equipment early. They tested the equipment the next morning. It was always making sure that everything was going to work, and that was a huge deal to us.
Getting to work with, Adam and Aaron, and just seeing the passion that the folks at Marquis had for quality, and they'd go out of their way to make sure that things that we didn't even notice were delivered at the highest possible quality.
We got to know everyone that was coming in, and we had, for a while, every day we were seeing the same people or some assortment of the same people, and it was really like they were just a part of the team. It wasn't like Marquis and here's the governor's office. It was just, here's the team that's going to put out this show today. So building those relationships has been invaluable for us moving forward, and I think everyone kind of learned things from the pandemic. For us, it was, here's a great way to help put out this information by having a great teammate like Marquis.
We've primarily worked with Aaron Miller and Adam Reif, and they've been phenomenal to work with the whole time. We've developed a really close working relationship with both of them and probably bugged them both more than they'd like.
Ethan and I especially have had some really great friendships with some of the people we've worked with from Marquis. It's alleviated a lot of our fears in the office. It's helped turn us into a better operation ourselves. Marquis took the small amount of information we had, the small amount of gear, and said, here's how you maximize it. So it wasn't just, we're paying you guys to come in and run our event. It was, we're going to do some professional development with you too. So I felt like Marquis invested in us, we invested back, and I think that has been a real key in the success of the teamwork we have.